Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And I think it's my first time so this should be fun. And I was watching Rachel's video, which I'll post a link down below if anyone wants to watch it. I love her videos. I got my inspo from her, and I know she got some other questions from someone else's video as well, so this isn't an original kind of video, but I wanted to participate anyway. I literally have no other excuse, but I wanted to do one of these. I feel like this will be so interesting anyway. So the first question is, best book you've read so far in 2024? So there's actually a good few, and off the top of my head that I can just say from without a doubt that I've been thinking about these books. The first one is obviously A Little Life. I feel like this is my all-time favorite. I read your trigger warnings, but this book made me sob like no other book has. But it has everything. It has college, friendship, love, trauma, addiction. It talks about so many topics, and I literally got so attached to these characters, like no lie. The other one that I can think of the top of my head is Alone with You in the Ether, and I'm sorry, that book, I love that book, and without a doubt I absolutely loved it. It was my 6-star book. It's just one of those books that I will be rereading and rereading. Love that book. Also, The Magnolia Parks, and I just swear there isn't any book written the way that Jessa wrote this book, and these characters live in my head rent-free. I think about them every day. I wish I could just say one book. Anyway, I'm just so glad that I found these books, and highly recommend. Next question is, the best sequel you've read so far in 2024? Alright, so I want to say Elsie Silver, Heartless, and Reckless are my favorite sequels that I read this year. I read Flawless last year, and I wasn't like the biggest fan, but I'm glad I kept continuing on with the series. They're cowboy romances. One is a bull rider, and the other one is he's a rancher. And next question, new release you haven't read yet but want to. I think this one's an easy one, Taming 7. It's on my July TBR, so I will be reading this in the month of July. I know it came out April, so a couple months back. I just haven't gotten around to reading it, especially because I've been hearing very mixed reviews, and I'm a little bit nervous because of that. But Gypsy's book, I've been waiting since the first book. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I feel like there's specifically two, which is Reckless, which is the second book in Powerless. I don't know what's the trilogy called. I feel like everyone's heard about this at this stage, to be honest, because this has become so hyped up, and I feel like there's a good reason. There's not much of a world building, I feel like. Yes, it's kind of fantasy, but if you read Shatter Me series, it's very similar to that. Also, Hunger Games, another book that I can't think of, but I felt like some of this wasn't like really original. But I'm waiting on for the second book in this, which comes out in July, and then the other one, it's Daydream by Hannah Grace. Wasn't a huge fan of Wildfire, but I loved Icebreaker. No, I know it's a whole lot of mixed reviews, but I loved it. I was kicking and giggling. I can't remember the last time a book has made me do that, so that says a lot. Next question, biggest surprise. So a book that surprised me the most. The biggest one, I want to say it was Girl in Pieces, which I did a video for Read With Me for a week sad books, and I didn't think I would like it as much as I did, because first of all, it's a young adult book, and young adult does normally hit the way that I want it to hit. I don't know, I feel like maybe because it kind of reminded me of A Little Life, why I love this. But I love the fact that in this small town the characters were very complex. They each struggled with their own addiction, and I loved it. Kind of reminded me of Girl Interrupted movie. If you watched that, the very beginning of her being in the psych ward, I loved it. That's all I have to say, and I want to read more of Kathleen Glasgow books because of this one. Favorite new author, debut, or new to you? Obviously, well, it's Jessa Hastings, Frederick Backman, and Rena Kent. I read 2 of her books this year. I don't know what this was, but I read 2 of her books, and I see the hype. She's a dark romance author, and I I want to read all of her books. That's all I want to say. Newest fictional crush. Newest? I feel like there wasn't anyone since I read Magnolia Park's universe. I feel like the men in these books, they're just on another level. Specifically, I love BJ. I know not every girly loves BJ, but I'm a BJ girly. I've been true and true a BJ girly from the very first book. So I feel like that says a lot. I loved him. I loved his character. I don't think there was anyone since. Book that made you cry. Need I say more? Need I say more? Book that made you happy. I'm actually gonna pick a cheesy one because this one is The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams, and I know not everyone loved this book, but I personally loved it. I gave this one 4.5. I was laughing and giggling, and it was just the right kind of cheesiness. It wasn't like cringy. Like, I found it like good funny cheesy. And I think I do need to talk about Powerless finally, because this one actually did make me really happy. I like the banter in this book between the two main characters. I like them. It was just one of those books that I picked up and I couldn't put down, and I binged it. It's simple as. Most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received. I feel like there's only two. So this one is The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent, and I love the edges on this one. I feel like I just will never stop looking at this book. Like, this looks absolutely stunning. And the second one is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, and the edges again on this one looks stunning, and it has a little bit of an artwork inside as well. And I've yet to read this one, to be honest, but I'm really excited to, because for whatever reason I'm a little child and I love illustrations in books. So this one is absolutely stunning as well. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? Alright. I think that's on my physical TBR. Well, off of the top of my head, it's I want to finish the Throne of Glass series because I did start it and I need to finish this. I'm hoping this year anyway, and I feel like I want to finish a couple more of my series that I started, because to be honest, I'm in like, it's definitely over 30 book series that I'm in the middle of, and I kind of want to start finishing those up because at this stage it's a joke. It's an actual joke. And then the next couple of questions are the extra questions that Rachel put into her video that she got the inspo off of someone else's. But the first question is, what books do you want to reread this year? Do you know what? I would love to reread Powerless again, because I loved Kai in this, and I can't stop thinking about this book. And I think I gave this one 4.5, and I feel like it's a, I don't know, I don't want to say it's a 5-star book now at this stage, but I want to reread it and maybe see if it's a 4.75 maybe. I've been dying to reread Love on the Brain because this was the first Ali Hazelwood book that I read, and I just can't stop thinking about this one. This one was my favorite out of all the ones that I've read so far. I've like 2 more books left. First I need to read Witch's Bride and Not in Love, and then we'll see because I want to reread this so bad. I feel like those two would be the main ones. Oh, also Binding 13 and Keeping 13, because I love those 2 books. I read them back in last year and I can't stop thinking about them books either, and I want to go back to that universe. Boys of Torment has my heart. Books you've been putting off. I'm so bad at this, to be honest, because I've been putting off a good few. Seems as I'm in the middle of like 30 book series, because that's about all. First of all the book series that I'm in the middle of, I'm calling myself out for this one. Obviously, okay, the biggest one I feel like that I've been putting off, it's The Goldfinch. Sorry, still sick, I know. So it's The Goldfinch, and I got this one for 4 quid, believe it or not. I've had this on like 3 monthly TBRs at this stage, I think, and no, 2, I think 2. Is it 3? I don't know, I lost count at this stage, but like, it's absolutely ridiculous because I've been wanting to read this since the beginning of this year. I read The Secret History and I love that book, so I've been meaning to read other Donna Tartt books. I forgot the name of the author there for a second, but it's big. It's like nearly 900 pages. I'm nervous to the point where my knees and legs are shaking in the boots, kind of nervous. I'm just blabbering at this stage. Anyway, let's move on. A book you've enjoyed with mixed reviews. Off the top of my head, it's Icebreaker, because I enjoyed that book so much and I had such a good time. It wasn't too spicy for me or whatever people were saying. Rhythm Chord and Malikin. It's a very short Mariana Zapata book and I love this one. I mean, looking at the reviews, I know a whole lot of people were having beef with this book. I'm sorry, I don't want to hear it. Not a single bad thing. If this book has no fans, then I am dead. 5-star predictions for the rest of the year. I feel like If We Were Villains might be my 5-star book. I don't want to jinx myself, to be honest, but I've been hearing good things about it, and I think it's supposed to be like a lit fic. I personally really enjoy lit fics. LaRue maybe, The Goldfinch, and also maybe I'm looking at Crooked Kingdom because I absolutely love the first book. That was almost my 5-star book, but the only thing is, like, I feel like I never give 5 stars to books that are first in the series because you're just still getting into the world building, like you're trying to understand all these characters and so much can change within the next few books. I don't know, for whatever reason I just feel like my 5-star book in the series is either the second book, which most likely is the second book, or the third, or depending how long the series is, maybe it's the very last one. I won't be going through my Kindle because there's a lot of books on that, and that's a whole other topic for another day. But do you think you'll reach your reading goal? Are you going to change it? I can't talk. I probably most likely won't be changing it. I'm currently on 83 books. I probably won't be because my goal for the year was 200 books. I know it's a lot, but I've been reading lately really thick books over like 400 pages, 500 pages long, and I feel like that's where it's been kind of slowing me down. I either will need to find really short novellas to kind of keep me on track, but most likely I won't be hitting my 200 book goal this year. Last year it was 107 books or something along the lines, like, so this year I'm really ahead of it. I'm ahead of my last year's goal. And last but not least, any new goals for the rest of the year? To be honest, I don't think so. I feel like the only thing is I'm a bit torn because I do want to try out new authors and new book series, but I'm also really torn between keeping on track with my current book series that I'm in the middle of and to kind of start to finish them off, which I feel like I'm so bad at that because technically I really am in the middle of so many book series. When will I learn? I don't know, and I'm just really torn between that line of trying new authors, new series, and finishing up my book series, and I'm just torn. But yeah, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.